Going to chair and just say something about the CPA position on this, and then hand over to our two experts. One of our concerns in the Communist Party is the loss of democracy. This is not just a question in this area, it's a general development within society and within Australia at the moment. But here we are seeing a very significant threat to removing what is the level of government closest to the people. Many people, I think, wouldn't dream of going and giving their MP hell, but they will give a local councillor hell. And what's happening is that the level of government closest to the people, most receptive to the people through local councillors, most responsive to the people in a number of ways, because when you deliver services which are more local, you're actually more responsive, less likely to over-bureaucratise the services. You know, the people who deliver services often know some of their clients and so on. So we are in danger of seeing all that being lost. We're in danger of councils no longer being local and actually reflecting and servicing and encouraging a sense of locality, which is very important in large cities for the quality of lives of ordinary people who have very little power anyway. We're seeing that being thrown out of the window and being replaced by what is really an emphasis on efficiency in their terminology. But we don't really want councils whose first concern is efficiency and the bottom financial line. We have to be financially responsible, of course, but it's not the first question, because the first question is the things that councils look after, particularly of concern at the moment, of course, is overdevelopment, although power for that is being removed at the same time and given more and more to state government. But there are other services which are important for people, which they care about, which when you're walking down your local street, they're less likely to be talking about Syria, unfortunately, and more likely to be talking about the curbs and guttering. And it affects people's lives, and the possibility of councils which focus on a sensitivity to the community by much larger councils which are removed from the feelings in a particular community and are concerned about the bottom line, is another thing that we are facing. We're also concerned that the City of Sydney doesn't have wards. Bigger councils may well not have wards because it's often argued by the same people that they're sort of inefficient. It's not the way you should do it. But if in fact you have to get elected for a whole area, it requires a great deal more resources, people and money. So we're going to get more developers, more, with apologies, very rich lawyers, more more real estate
not entirely
people.
sure you insulted me there.
You know, those kind of people on the larger councils, because they're going to be able to afford to run the campaigns which can get them elected. So we're going to see our councillors more and more removed. And I mean, I've experienced it personally. I live in Glebe. We used to be in Leichhardt Council. I knew who was in my ward, and I knew the councillor down the road, and I wasn't beyond going on a Sunday morning and knocking on her door and complaining. We also went to council a great deal, and we knew the people, and they knew us. And there was a relationship there where you could exercise some pressure. Didn't mean to say you always won or that you were sort of completely powerful, not that. But at least you had some leverage. We're now in the City of Sydney, no wards, so who do we go to? It does happen that one of the councillors on the City of Sydney lives not very far from us, so there is somebody we tend to go to. But that isn't true for a lot of other people in Balmain or in other suburbs. She happens to be in Glebe, so we can contact her. But if we have the kind of amalgamations that are being proposed, then that relationship with councillors will be lost. We will also risk having councillors who are so overwhelmed with work because of the huge area and issues they have to cover, they will have less time for their constituents. They will have less time to focus on issues. And that can be a recipe for councils run far more by paid officials. And that is not a good idea. The paid officials are there to carry out the decisions of people who are democratically electable and are supposedly answerable to us. So again, we see, you know, the rights of ordinary people, the element of democracy disappearing. Now that's not to say that councils are perfect. Sylvia, you're in Auburn. You will know that deputy heads of councils can in fact be utter madmen. And there are other examples. But those are not, I think, generated from the local government system. They arise because of individuals who are involved, the character of those individuals, the temptations of, you know, being paid off by developers and so on. And some people will give in to that. But that's not a reason for making bigger councils, because bigger councils will probably create more opportunities for that rather than less. The state government has made it absolutely clear, and I'm sure we'll hear from David and Bly about this, they've made it absolutely clear that they want larger councils, you know, and they gave IPART, the Independent Pricing and Regulatory Tribunal, the job of researching this. Now I think we're terribly lucky to have IPART. They are clearly clairvoyant. You know, they make statements about, you know, the future development of councils, and they say they are unfit, you know, for future responsibilities. They may be financially viable, but, you know, in this sort of vision of the future, they are unfit. The methodology, the standards by which things are judged, the evidence that is offered in that report, as far as we are concerned, are deeply flawed. And this is more about the state government having decided it's going to have larger councils. Now the last thing I want to mention, and I'll just check so I get the figures right,